Hello, interstellar programmers, it's Astronaut B, welcoming you to another high-octane coding voyage. Today's mission is all about decision-making in your code through if-else statements, using the universal language we all understand, numbers. By the end of this journey, you'll not only grasp how to make your code take specific actions based on numerical conditions, but also incorporate multiple scenarios through Elif statements. Get ready to explore numerical decision making that can guide your program as accurately as a compass. Think of if-else as the crossroads of coding. It helps your code decide which path to take based on a certain condition. Today, we will focus on numerical comparisons, since they can be more straightforward. To calculate, they're either smaller, larger, or equal to others. Let's take a look at the basic structure of an if-else statement. First, we write our normal if statement, just as we did last lesson. If this condition is true, it will do the code immediately following it and ignore the else statement code. However, here is where else comes into play. The else statement happens when the first if statement is false. I like to call it my otherwise statement. Do this one thing if the condition is true, otherwise do something else. For example, I may want to continue my space journey if I have more than 10 fuel cells. Otherwise, I should land on the nearest planet and refuel. So I would write, if fuel cells are greater than 10, print continue journey. Else, print land and refuel. Here is another example. When flying over a new planet, we need to adjust our altitude. If our current altitude is less than 1,000 meters, we need to ascend to avoid crashing. Otherwise, we can continue flying. How might we write an if-else statement to solve this problem? Pause the video here and try it. First, we check if the current altitude is less than 1,000. If this is true, we print ascend immediately. Otherwise, if this is not true, we will print continue flying. Often, space travel isn't just about two decisions. We might encounter scenarios with multiple outcomes. That's when Elif, short for else if, becomes our trusty co-pilot. We start by checking our first condition. If this is not true, we can list a second condition, this time using the elif command. We can continue to check other conditions with more elif commands until we have checked them all. Then, if we want to, we can end the list of conditions with an else statement. This statement will only happen if all of the if and elif statements are false. We sometimes call this a fallback action because it happens when all of the other conditions are false. Here is an example. Let's say we want to check the temperature outside to see what type of clothing we should wear. For temperatures above 70, we don't bring a jacket. For temperatures above 50, we bring a light jacket. For temperatures above 10, we bring a heavy jacket. For all other temperatures, it is too cold, so we don't go outside. How do you think you might use elif to write this statement? Pause the video here and give it a try. We can start by checking to see if the temperature is above 70 degrees. If this is true, we will not wear a jacket. Next, we use elif to check another condition. This time, we will check if the temperature is above 50 degrees. Here, we will bring a light jacket. We can use another elif statement to check if the temperature is above 10 degrees. In this case, we will bring a heavy jacket. Lastly, we can use an else statement. If the temperature is in the range of 10 degrees or below, this statement will happen. In that case, we will stay inside. That is way too cold. Now remember, since we are using if, elif, else. Only one of these statements will happen, so we won't be grabbing multiple jackets. Now that we understand how to use if, elif, and else statements, let's use them for a programming task. The trees we have planted in the previous tasks are getting low on water, and we are running out. We have detected water in an underground cave, so we are going to try to locate and retrieve it. We're given two cave paths with distances represented by left distance and right distance. We want to send the robot down the longer path to maximize our chance of finding water. We can use an if-else statement to do that. If our left distance is larger than our right distance, which way should we go? That's correct, left. So we can use our move function with the parameters left and left distance, so we travel left the correct distance. Since there is only one other direction we can go, we will insert an else statement here. If the left path wasn't the longest, we must go right instead. We can use the parameters right and right distance to travel to the right the correct distance. Finish the else statement on this task and then try the next few tasks on your own. Wow, what an adventure, spacefarers! We've successfully journeyed through the land of if-else statements and numerical conditions. We now know that else statements work together with if statements and allow us to execute code when our if statement is false. We also found that elif statements come in handy when we have more than one condition to check and give us the flexibility to make different choices based on each of those decisions. Our mission to find water on a distant planet served as the ultimate test of our newly acquired skills. With the power of numbers and if-else logic, our robotic explorer was able to choose the best path effectively. Be sure to complete the programming tasks, practice questions, and extension activities before moving on to the next lesson. And remember, in the universe of coding, the possibilities are infinite. See you next time. Hey, hey.